take Rex's 2022 Jeep Rubicon 392 on the test drive. Pretty standard build like all of ours, WFO long arm, and these Jeeps are definitely driving. Man, every time. Just awesome to get on it and whip it out and go for the test drive. This one still an all-wheel drive, 40-inch tires, got our full exhaust on it, single exhaust with the Borla, stock motor, stock transmission, 1-ton axles, got the 72.5 60 HD front from Dynatrac and the 80 rear, and here we go. Just like that, you're doing 85. So one finger on the steering wheel, ripping down the road on 40s, speed locks. We even put a little interior roll cage in this one. I don't actually remember whose kit it was, but we powder coated it the same gray color, and it's all bolt in, so there's a little extra added safety. So this Jeep has the 2.5 ADS shock package with the compression clickers, and this road is 6-inch potholes all over, and I mean, this thing just rips through the nuisance bumps. So much fun. Oh my God, that feels great. And then you got that ability to never gets old. I hope the camera's picking that up, but it sounds so good when you're on the gas. And with this 3.5-inch Borla, as soon as you let off the gas, it's dead quiet in here. Talk on Bluetooth, on your cell phone. So it's that perfect match between letting everybody know you got a 470 horse V8, but also calling your mom on the phone and asking her how her day went. Well, Rex's 392 has not disappointed. 2022, a little bit older 392, has not very many miles on it. 14,422 miles. Kind of a sad story on Rex's is he had a brand new 392, left it at the airport, flew out of town, it got stolen from the airport, never to be seen again. So it is a thing that these 392s and the Dodge T-Rexes have definitely been getting stolen. And so this is his replacement Jeep that took forever to get, bought a used one, brought it to us and said, time to build it. So that's what we did. Once again, kind of one of our standard 392 builds, but with tons of Gucci parts, awesome driver. So I'll kind of walk you around. Start with, you saw when I got out, has the Rockslide Engineering steps on this. That way your wife's happy, plus they can still crush the rocks on the Rubicon. 3/16 plate on top of the Rockslide step. We've had tons of good luck with these. There's a lot of misinformation on whether they're good, they're not good, whether you can actually four-wheel in them. So this is what I think about them. Keep in mind that it is a matter of when it's going to have a problem, not if. At some point, you're going to have a motor issue, an electronic issue. I don't know if you understood how these work, but this is a magnet right here. It glues onto the door. And then this right here is the sensor that the magnet trips to open and close the doors. So common thing that happens with these, this sensor could come unstuck, fall loose, the magnet could move. Easy to deal with. And for us, even rebuilding the arms or working on the inside, very easy to deal with too. So at some point there could be a problem, but the benefits of the electric steps absolutely outweigh everything else. You can smash them, you can get in and out with your coffee, you can drive them every day, and that's what we're trying to do out of these 392 is make them daily drivers. So Dynatrac XD60 Pro Rock front, 72.5 inches wide, 80 rear, 72.5 inches wide. Take a look, 40-inch Nitto radials, Battleborn Sierra wheels. These are 17x9 with 5 inches of back spacing to get them in so the 72.5 inch wide aren't obnoxious wide on the vehicle. Gives you really good scrub radius, everything else. So one of the small details we always do, because we never want any lights on the dash, is whenever we mount the bead locks, put the 40s together, we always remove the tire pressure sensors from the original tires and wheels and put them in these wheels. We feel that some of the aftermarket ones are hard to program, and so we always start with the original tire pressure sensors in the tire. Factory painted fenders that are hollowed out with the American Adventure Labs inner fenders, the washer bottle that gets tucked in more for full open fender, and obviously take a look at that. The black or gray Cerakote ADS shocks with the compression clicker on there. Amazing on this thing, 2.5 inch diameter. This thing rides absolute unbelievable. Just hit those potholes. Underneath here, 4.5 inches of lift, front and rear, with standard coils. Those are metal cloak dual rate coils. Has the factory sway bar in here. You can notice these sway bar drop downs look factory. Those are basically the rears, just moved to the front. Has our WFO track bar brace with our Chromall Uniball track bar in there. And as you're looking here, the 7075 billet tie rod from WFO with the Apex tie rod ends on it, and that Pro Rock 60. On this one, we also, with the 7075 tie rod on it, we kept the stock Dynatrac upper drag link on this one. And while you're underneath here, you can see the PSC Hydro Assist ram tucked underneath to a clamp on the tie rod, going a little different direction than we normally do on these things. Everything working good. Like I said, 513 gears and an e-locker. So something really unique up front on this thing is our Baja Designs S1 light. So take a look at this. A lot of guys are doing this. So this is the S1 mounted to the knuckle with the gatekeeper brackets, and then wires run up. Now, something unique we did to make those S1s work, along with these Squadron Pros in the bumper, is they are both hooked up to the fog light switch. So no extra switches in there. Factory fog light runs these in the bumper and those on the knuckles. Up here on the front, you got a single push bar Motobilt front bumper with the worn 10,000S synthetic winch sunk down in there. Factor 55 Fairlead with the Factor 55 Ultra Hook, all in this kind of gunmetal gray, going along with the ADS shock theme, keeping it very simple. And then these LED lights are the smoked American Adventure Lab LED front lights in the fender. We'll walk around over here where you can kind of see it, but of course all these 392s have the WFO long arm kit, so it's a parallel 4-link in the front, tucks up in there. Something a little different on this, it actually has the Motobilt skid plates all the way from front to rear, and we went ahead and powder coated that our color that our lift kit comes in, so it kind of blends in. Here you can see the trimming that we did to clear the rear mounts, the skid plate to clear the rear long arm mounts. We do a little bit of trimming right here in the front to clear the front mounts, and then if you look in the back here, there is a skid plate going back for the exhaust. I'll show you where that ties in and helps. Here we have our rear control arm mounts for the long arm, and notched around the Rockslide Engineering steps to clear them. It's important that all the parts you have are cohesive and work together. Nobody builds them all to fit, so we make sure that all the different parts from everybody else fit together to make your package work. In the rear here, another fender chop with the black bolts instead of the plastic clips holding the fenders on. And once again, this has the American Adventure Labs inner fenders, and we feel they give you the most clearance for your aftermarket 40s to fit in here. As you work around to the back, Motobilt rear bumper, Squadron backups, hooked up to the reverse switch. So there's no button to turn on. You put it in reverse, they light up. As you take a look, lights on the back, we changed it up a little bit. These are the Morimoto rear LED taillights, and you can see this little box here. So this is where the active, lane detection device goes. When you're shifting lanes, your mirror will light up if there's a car in your way, your blind spot monitor. They work a little bit better in this unit. You give up a little bit because this black part pokes out, but they seem to work a little bit better than some of the other aftermarket LED rear taillights. On the back of this thing, it had the factory Jeep tire reinforcement bracket. So we went ahead and did our black powder-coated ice chest rack for your Yeti, camera mount, license plate mount, third brake light, and he decided to go with the mounts that we make each side for Rotopacks. So you'll hold two 2-gallon Rotopacks. And then because this had the rear Jeep tire reinforcement hinge, if you take a look here, you can see this little spacer plate. You have to buy that extra when you get the ice chest rack. It's a Delrin spacer to work with the factory Mopar mount. As we look inside, don't worry about that. We haven't put the cover back on, but we also have our rear basket, and this is the high mount. So if you take a look here, we have a lot more space. You can fit the 50-quart ARB on a slide in here with the high mount. Black powder coated. The only thing different is the brackets. So you technically could get our basket, have a low mount bracket and a high mount bracket. And then up inside here has our rubber, no rattle, stick-in bottom on the basket. So clean for accessorizing and fitting all your stuff. While we're in the back here, we're gonna kneel down and check this out. So it never gets old looking at that Dynatrac Pro Rock 80. E-lockers front and rear hooked up to the stock switches, so nothing's different inside. You can see our rear track bar in there. FK Heims chrome on a uniball. So now that you're here, you see no big 392 muffler, no 4 taillights. This is our single 3.5-inch Borla mandrel bent stainless steel TIG welded. Gets rid of the muffler in the back. The muffler sits right up front there above that skid, and it's a Borla muffler. And that leaves all this space for clearance, rocks, and everything else. And I'm telling you what, that single exhaust on the 392 with the 4-inch straight through Borla sounds so good on these things. And it just lightens everything up and gives you all that space. We'll take a look. Even though this is a simple build, we did put onboard air. And here's your air chuck right here. Switch to turn it on. Compressor is underneath the seat. And the brackets we're using now, if you look in the back seat, there's a little kick cover there so you don't hit the compressor. Other than that, the inside of the Jeep, completely stock with the exception of that roll bar up in the top that we added. That's just a bolt-in roll bar scenario. Does a little bit, helps out a little. Open up the hood here for the last kind of big mod, which was the PSC hydro assist steering. Very hard to see, but here's your reservoir with a filter inside there. This is the breather. It's a pressurized system. And now there's a pump mounted on the motor. So this is motor driven power steering and hydro assist, no longer on the electric setup. So we like to do that on all the 392s. Seems to work well. Gives you the best steering on and off the trail. So I say it's a simple build, but we pretty much replaced everything in it. Forgot to mention the 1350 CV drivelines front and rear. In fact, it's a 1350 front driveline, and because of the Dana 80, a 1410 rear CV and 1410 rear driveline to go with it. So it's not all that simple. So lastly, before I let you go, there's one other thing I want to touch on. Everybody seems to think that the all-wheel drive transfer cases in the 392s are a problem. They all want to go to Atlases. You know, we kind of believe otherwise. So as you can see, this hub is in the locked position, and we're running, take a look right here, we're running the RCVs in this front from Dynatrac. So that means hubs are always locked. You're always in all-wheel drive. Our shop Jeep has 53,000 miles in all-wheel drive. We love it. We haven't had any problems with the factory transfer case. So this has the stock transfer case, stock all-wheel drive, hooked up just how Jeep wanted it. And I'll tell you what, when you accelerate on wet roads or windy roads, it just hooks up and goes. It does not get sideways and lose control. So contrary to popular belief, we do like to keep the all-wheel drive until there is an issue. And let me tell you, we've had one all-wheel drive transfer case have an issue out of all the builds we've done since 2021. So, and we've built a lot of 392s. So all-wheel drive as it should be for now. And hope you like Rex's Jeep. See you on the next one. Always, the best part of the 392 and all-wheel drive is one-lane back roads. It just rips. Oh, oncoming car. Better slow down. Whoops. Not supposed to have that on camera.